Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and are having a flare-free day. It is full-on autumn/fall where I live here in Canada. And the season always reminds me of how I should live my life with a chronic illness. And I thought that I would share some insights with you that I've been thinking about recently when the seasons start to change here. There's something comforting around how nature shifts here. There's no rush, there's no panic. There's just a quiet understanding that things are starting to shift and change. In many ways, managing a chronic condition is the same. There's a sense of learning to find beauty in the unpredictability of things. That strength exists in slowing down. And there's joy and beauty in the smallest things, like when leaves start to change or when there's like beautiful falling leaves with the crisp air. There are beautiful reminders around us in this season, and the same is true with a chronic condition. When I first started to have painful symptoms and experiences of my chronic condition, I, as an A-type person, felt as though every day needed to be perfect to count. I wanted to live life without disruptions, to push through the fatigue and the pain without needing to slow down or to show any signs of weakness. Autumn is a season for me that has reminded me that there are ebbs and flows that come with any day. Some days are filled with golden, beautiful leaves, pumpkin spice lattes, and pumpkin patches. And other days are cold and rainy and overcast. And that's the beauty that comes with the season, that there is a reminder there that not every day is perfect to find beauty in it. Every day doesn't have to revolve around blooming or growing to be beautiful or to count. When I look at trees and how their leaves have changed from green to reds and oranges and gold and yellows, and then finally shedding of those leaves, I am reminded that there is beauty in letting go. And a lot of the times with my chronic illness, I felt as though I was holding on to so much because it gave me a sense of an identity of a person I once knew, or it gave me some sense of control during a time where I didn't know what was happening with my body and it felt like it was doing its own thing. And so I have recognized, and autumn has reminded me, that letting go is beautiful and it's okay. And it's not a sign of weakness to let go. It's a sign of inner strength, and that there are things that are happening beneath the surface that are supporting me through the change of letting go. When it comes to my chronic illness journey, I've realized that I need to let go of the guilt that comes with taking a break or resting. I don't think our society holds a lot of space for rest and relaxation and standing still. I feel like there's a burnout culture that exists of, if you're not moving or looking busy, then you must be lazy or unproductive, and that's not the case. Chronic illnesses need rest in order to heal, and I realize I need to shed that leaf of mine to say, that guilt is no longer with me. It's okay to rest and to recharge. I need to also shed the guilt that slowing down is weakness. It's strength, if anything. And so I'm just kind of reminding myself that I need to shed that guilt of, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest, because that's strength in itself, to recognize our needs in the moment. I've learned to let go of expectations, of the need to prove to everyone else that I'm capable and similar to, when in fact, I'm different and my body's different and my needs are different. And so living up to those expectations that I have of myself or that others have is not a weight that I want to carry anymore. Autumn has reminded me of this, is that strength isn't always loud or visible. Some days strength looks like getting out of bed or putting a sock on or brushing our hair. Other days it looks like saying no or setting boundaries or listening to what your body needs. One of the most beautiful things about autumn is its embrace of transition. No tree apologizes for dropping its leaves. No flower holds on to summer blooms. Chronic illnesses have taught me to embrace transition and change, even if I may not want it at the time. I don't need to stay the same or force myself into a box of who I used to be. There is beauty in evolving, even if it looks a little bit different than it did before. Autumn has taught me too that when things feel a little bit uncertain or uneasy, that change is a constant companion. I know when it comes to a chronic illness, sometimes we view change as like, no more please. Like there's already a lot of change and things moving without my kind of consent, of a new symptom arriving, a flare-up coming forward unannounced, or a change in our support system, or whatever it may be. Sometimes chronic illnesses, we can have our guard up when change is announced or change arrives without our consent. But I'm here to remind you that there is beauty in change and that it's not always a scary thing. The unpredictability or the unknown that comes around the corner with a chronic illness reminds us that there's also joy that can come forward, newfound energy that might be around the corner, or a new sense of peace that we didn't initially see in that first season of change. The beauty in autumn lies in quiet resilience. The trees, I don't think, mourn the loss of their leaves. They prepare for winter, trusting that spring will come again. Living with a chronic illness reminds me that I have to find that same inner trust and strength within myself. Sometimes it's holding steady and rooting myself where I am during those hard days. The trees here during autumn remind me that everyone's journey looks a little bit different. I'm surrounded by maple trees here in Canada, and some maples are still green, some have already started to change to red and gold and yellows and oranges, and some have already lost all of their leaves. And it's just a reminder that every chronic illness can look a little bit different, that your path doesn't have to match the exact same maple tree beside you, or that individual who has a chronic illness similar to you doesn't have to look the same. It's okay. And that there is beauty in everyone's journey. What's most empowering about this season is that I am not defined by my illness. These challenges that face me are only passing through. That's because I've learned how to move with it instead of against it. Through autumn, I am reminded that any season that I am in, whether it's filled with color or like a hazy autumn fog, I am healing. I am preparing silently for the next chapter or next season.